Title: She betrayed me, I filed for divorce and transformed my lie. When she spotted me, panic set in. The guy who had been with her jumped off and scrambled to the floor. I told her she was the most despicable person I had ever encountered and walked out. She was crying and pleading for me to return, asking for forgiveness, lamenting how I was just like everyone else, while I pondered the decline of our society heading into darkness. Hi everybody. We're back with another sign-up email. If you have a story to share, whether it's funny or a story of overcoming challenges, submit it to Life Lessons. That's the life lesson. We have a lot. Now we have 2 emails to dive into today. Let's get started. Email number 1, subject: How I walked away from her and her children. It looks like we have a compelling story here. Let's take a look. Hi there, I've been following your videos for quite some time and felt compelled to share my experience. I'm using a throwaway email to keep my identity private. This all began when I was 23, and I was in a relationship with a stunningly beautiful woman who was intelligent, kind, and treated everyone well. We were in a seemingly perfect relationship for a year. When I proposed at 23, everything felt right. A few weeks after, she announced she was pregnant and I was ecstatic. Despite using condoms, I trusted her completely and didn't question it. We hurried to marry in a small ceremony 4 months later, and she was 2 months pregnant when we wed. 7 months after the wedding, we welcomed twins into our lives, and I was overjoyed. Fast forward 10 years, we were both 34, and her behavior started to raise my suspicions. I had a business trip coming up, but my instincts urged me to stay home and see what was happening. I called in sick, claiming I had severe diarrhea and a terrible headache, and my employer told me to rest until I felt better. I decided to return home an hour after my flight was supposed to take off, planning to spend time with my wife since the kids were meant to be with her mother due to her overtime work. Instead, I grabbed a burger at the mall, hoping I was mistaken in my worries and looking forward to quality time with her. However, life had other plans. As I pulled into my driveway, I noticed a car I didn't recognize. I hoped it belonged to a friend of hers. When I entered the house, I could hear loud music and moans from our bedroom. Calmly, I took a photo, sent it to her parents, and cleared my throat to announce my presence. "So, are you going to introduce me to your friend?" I said. She froze in shock. The man who had been with her quickly scrambled off her. I told her she was the most terrible person I'd ever met and walked away, utterly crushed. It devastated me, but this was not the end. I checked into a hotel for 3 weeks, and when I returned, I demanded the truth from her. I discreetly recorded our conversation. She confessed that the man was an old friend and that they had been involved even before our engagement, revealing that the kids might not actually be mine. She admitted he reached out 2 years prior, leading to a rekindled friendship that spiraled into an affair 3 months later. After she finished, I walked away in silence. She cried and begged for my return and forgiveness, but I drove back to my hotel. A few days later, I took the children for paternity tests and waited a week for the results. When they confirmed they were not my biological children, I bought them both a Nintendo Switch and then headed to the registrar's office to have my name removed from their birth certificates, armed with the paternity results. Afterward, I reached out to a good friend who was a divorce lawyer to initiate the divorce proceedings. I provided him with the photo and the recording of her admission. The divorce was swift. She pleaded with me not to go through with it, but she kept the house, half of our savings, and her car. I walked away with my 401k, my vehicle, and my clothes, without any alimony since we had similar incomes, and she gained full custody of the kids. 2 years later, I met an incredible woman, more attractive than my ex, who was 4 years younger. Our chemistry was fantastic. I won't go into detail about how we met, as it's quite a long story. 2 years later, we married and had 2 lovely children, ensuring I had paternity tests for both. 4 years ago, I pursued my dream of becoming a politician, something my ex-wife had discouraged, while my current wife supported me wholeheartedly. I won the primary election with a grassroots campaign and defeated my opponent in the general election by 9%. Currently, I'm a two-term state representative with a wonderful family, a spacious home, and one less burden, my ex and her children. I'm now considering running for Congress in 2022. Wow! As the current congressman is retiring, he's been encouraging me to run. It's been 12 years since I divorced my awful ex, and 9 years since I married my fantastic wife. I couldn't be happier. My advice? Don't let a woman ruin your life, things will improve. I'm 46, my wife is 42, and we are blissfully happy together. The last I heard from my ex was through her mother, who told me she remarried the father of the kids, the guy who was with her in my bed. Honestly, I don't care. I'm the happiest I've ever been. Thanks for listening. Let me just add here, I'm planning to send her a Christmas card featuring my new wife and kids, stating how happy we are. Oh, and one last thing, I accidentally said Switch instead of Nintendo earlier. My mind got mixed up as I was contemplating buying my boys a Switch for Christmas. Now let's discuss this. Wow, you've run for state representative and are currently a two-term state house representative? That's huge. You're thinking about running for Congress next? That's impressive. I remember discussing paternity fraud not long ago where a man faced a similar situation. It's shocking to see how someone can ignore the signs even when using protection. I admire your immediate decision to test the children. It's wise to ensure things are right from the start. Walking in and catching your spouse with another man is devastating. I've heard multiple stories where men discovered their wives with other partners upon returning home. It's an awful experience. You opted to walk away, and look at you now, successful, happy, and thriving. Others who've reacted violently have faced severe consequences, and it's better to remove yourself from toxic situations. Your decision to leave has led you to success, and I salute you for that. The kids, it's unfortunate they are affected by this, but you did what was necessary for your own well-being. It's sad they lost a father figure due to their mother's lies, but you've moved forward with your life. Thank you for sharing your story. Let me know what you all think about this email. Now, let's move on to our next story, which is more of an update. Email number 2, subject, seeking advice. Hey, true story, I emailed you previously about my experience, and I'm grateful you shared it on your channel. I feel honored to contribute, even if it's just sharing my journey. Recently, hearing stories about infidelity makes me feel sad for men whose lives are turned upside down. I was once in that position, and I see our society spiraling downwards into darkness. I don't want to witness this. I genuinely want to make a difference. I know it's a lofty goal, but I feel helpless and sorrowful for myself and others who have endured similar heartbreak. It's starting to take a toll on me. I know I might sound childish and the world isn't perfect, but am I wrong to feel this way? I seek advice as I'm struggling alone without another man's perspective. Perhaps I'm still emotionally scarred from being cheated on. Apologies for the lengthy rant. I wish you the best and continue your efforts to assist others. Wow, let me share my thoughts. You're not overly emotional, it's entirely valid to want to help others. There's nothing wrong with men supporting men. Many men in these situations end up homeless or losing their jobs, and they often go unnoticed. It's easy to assume the worst when you see someone on the streets. Their stories are often complex. Some may have found themselves in dire circumstances after discovering their spouse's betrayal. Many men struggle, feeling inadequate when they have families to support, leading to severe emotional distress. I understand that what drives me to share these stories is the hope that others will learn how to navigate their situations better. By sharing, we can prevent others from falling into the same traps. It's crucial to understand that walking away is often the best solution. I encourage you to reach out to others for support and share your ideas on how to help men in similar situations. You're not alone in this. Together, we can find ways to uplift one another. Thanks for sharing your email, it carries a powerful message. To the first email sender, thank you for your incredible story as well. If you want to share your own experience, send it to Lessons from Life. We'll catch up next time.